Okay, in the first part of our tests of recurrent and long short-term memory networks, we're going to try to test out if we can have a computer learn object permanence. So we're going to show the computer different objects, and then we're going to ask the computer, what was the last object you saw? Um, so similar to this is a idea in Google on the teachable machines. And on Google Teachable Machines, this demo here, you can hold up different objects like an orange or a Rubik's Cube, and you could say train this. So I could train on orange and it would remember what an orange is, and train on a Rubik's Cube and it would remember what a Rubik's Cube is, and I could train on different things and set that all up. But unfortunately, this doesn't work while I'm recording my video. So if you want to try this out, you can. But that's what this link in here to Google Machines are. But again, assume we have a machine trained to recognize these three different objects, and we're going to show the objects to the computer. And so here's how we're going to structure our data. Each of these rows will be one sequence, one showing. And so what this says is that 0 means we're not showing anything. So we're not showing anything. We're not showing anything. We're showing not showing anything. And then all of a sudden we're going to show the orange. We're going to show the orange and show the orange. So let's say the 2 is the orange. So like this one here would be show orange, no orange, show orange, no orange. And then we'd ask the computer, what was the last object you saw? Where something like this one would be show orange, and then show Rubik's Cube, assuming that Rubik's Cube is object number one, and then don't show anything, don't show anything. And then again, ask the user, or the computer, what was the last thing. So each row here is a showing, and each item is one like second of showing of one object or another. And the idea is computer should remember the last object seen. So here's the output array. So like the first one is all zeros. And so the output, we didn't see an object. But this one, we see 3, and then we see 1. So the last object we see is 1. So that was the last one here. This one, we don't see anything when we see a 2, and then nothing else. So 2 is the last object we see. So always the last object we see is what we want the computer to predict or say. Now, in order for this to work, our outputs can't be this. We need to do categorical outputs with neural networks. So instead of a 1 here, we're going to have our output is, rather than saying 0, 1, 2, 3, it'll be 0, 1, 2, 3. We'll have 4 output nodes, and the middle, or the first one, actually the second one, the 0th one will be if we don't see anything. The first one will be if we see something, the first object like our cube, and then the next one will be like if we see our orange, and then the last one will be if we see something else like a ball here. And so again, what we've done is we take this output and we have the computer just categorize it this way automatically. So this is the actual output values that the network will be trained on. And here we're going to set up our network, and we're going to do it two different ways. The first way we're going to do is a simple recurrent neural network, which we read about above, with 32 nodes. And again, here's our input. We have 14 different inputs, each of them the sequence of 6, and there's only one object in each one, where you either see the ball a object or you don't for that. So that's what we have as our input here, and our output is 4 different things. And again, which of the 4 items we saw here. So that's our initial input here. We're going to train this for 200 networks. So again, your job here is to run this as is and see how it performs. So you'll train it for like 200 times. It should go relatively fast. You should see, you can look at the accuracy here, and then here's our predicted class, and what we want is our predicted class. Like the second time we saw, the last object we saw was a 1, and that's what we predicted it was, and that's what it was. So these two should match up here. We saw an orange. The last thing we saw was an orange, and then we predicted we saw an orange. We predicted we saw the third object, and it was the third object. So you can watch through this. So try this once with long short-term memory, and then try this again. Now, I mean, with simple neural networks. And then we want you to swap these two lines. So comment that one out and uncomment this one. So now we're going to use long short-term memory instead of recurrent neural networks. And so I'll do that cell again. That'll do all my training. Let's see how my training's doing. So it should do all my training. And again, it should do it relatively fast here. What my line looks like, my graph looks like I learned pretty well, and my predictions, and see how we predict, see if all these match. Now in this example, yeah, so see this one and 2, this is not a match. We predicted an object 1 and it was an object 2. So, and again here we predicted object 3 and it was an object 1. So again, look through this and try to figure that out. So your job is to with this initial configuration of the 14 sequences, how many were categories correct with the RNN and with the long short-term memory here? And then also describe how what this input sequence means and what this output sequence means to make sure you understood that. Okay.